everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at a very simple family game called, in English, Shall We? Like shall we, but shells. Because shells. This version, as you can see, is in Korean. And the game is a remake of an older game. It's got quite a few years on it. And it's a very simple game in which you are going to be playing tiles to a board with a pattern, trying to get rid of all of your tiles. If you are the first one to run out, you immediately win the game. That's all there is to it. Let me go ahead and show you on the table what the game looks like. You can see the components, and I'll explain a little bit more what's going on. Then we'll come back, and I'll tell you what I think of it. So here we've got the game set up and ready to begin for 3 players. Now, be aware that there's another side to the board that you can play on, and there's also some alternate abilities that you can choose to employ, which would sit off to the side here and change some of the bonuses the players can gain, but we're not going to worry about that. I'm going to teach you the simplest version of the game. Everybody has 17 pieces, and then they pick one in turn order and deploy one. I've already done that, so there are 3 pieces already on the board. You will also notice that with 3 players, the purple color has been removed and left in the box. And if you were playing with just 2 players, you would also remove the red one. And so you'd play with only the center of the board. Right now, we're playing everything from red down to this orange color. And every player has a rack, and they have shells that look like this, including wild tiles, this starfish, okay? We'll talk about that in just 1 second. On your turn, you will do 3 things, possibly. The first one is you can swap a starfish. I'll come back to that. It's a bonus action. Will only apply sometimes. Second thing is standard action. You must do that. And then lastly, a bonus action if you earned one, okay? So the very first thing is swapping a starfish. If you have out there's a starfish on something somewhere, and you have the real tile that goes there, let's say this was somehow there, then you could, at the beginning of your turn, you can swap the real tile for the starfish, allowing you to be able to use this as a wild and place it anywhere later on. All right, so that is the first thing. And you can do that with as many starfish as are out there as long as you have the real tile that goes there. Second thing is a standard action. You must do this on your turn. And it is, there's 2 options. You can either play these shells up to 2, or you must draw 2 shells. So if you play shells, you are going to take a look at your tiles here, and you must play 1 or 2. They have to go next to something that's already there. So for example, taking a look at this 11 in blue, I could play next to that by playing the 10 in blue, by playing the 11 in orange, or playing the 12 in blue. So I could do this and play that 12 right there. That is 1 play. I could do a second play if I have it. So I could play, say, this one over here. And that would be my main action. The other option is I draw. I grab the bag, I go in here, and I take 2 new ones. The objective of the game is to run out of these shells. So you are trying to place them out there as effectively and as quickly as possible. Once you are done with your main action, playing 1 or 2, or drawing 2, then you get your bonus action if you've unlocked one. And there's 2 different ways you can unlock a bonus action. Let's say it's this player's turn. You could, on your turn, if you play 2 consecutive tiles, say this player's turn goes 16, 17, like so, they're going to unlock a bonus for doing that, and that bonus lets them take any tile from their board and give it to the player on their left, meaning they get rid of 1 and that player gets an extra. The other option is if you activate a location that has the pearls. You'll see it on the 14s and on the 4s. If you activate that, and I'll just pretend that I can do that somewhere. Here we go. It's going to be this player's turn. If they play here, once they're done with their main action, then the bonus is that you can play 1 piece anywhere you want to, does not have to be adjacent to something. So they get to play an extra, and now players in the future turns could play off of that, by the way. So you could even trigger both of those in the same go. If it was this player's turn, and they play both this 3 and this 4. They're going to give a piece to the player on their left and get to play one anywhere they want to, not necessarily next to something. The players are going to continue playing. Don't forget, you can always use the star as a wild, and yes, this will allow you to trigger those bonuses. This player could play 13, 14, and be able to give a piece to the player on their left and play another one anywhere they want to. Once a player is completely out of shells, they are going to immediately end the game and become the winner. And that is how you play, shall we? So as you can tell, it's very obvious that this game is meant for a family weight kind of target audience. This is a game you can play with kids. This is a game you can play with your mom who is not a board gamer. You can play with just about anybody is the idea. And I did do that. I played with my mom, who is very much not a board gamer. It is also, incidentally, language independent, which is lovely because then you can play with a family that speaks various languages, which, again, fits my scenario. And I will say I thought it went pretty well, but funny enough, the bonus rules are a little bit tricky to remember, and I think the game would have benefited from either not having 2 different bonuses or having a player aid that reminds you of which thing triggers which bonus. And I know it's funny to complain about rules and there being too many rules in a game like this, but I am basing this on who I think is the target audience. Somebody who could just play this game and nothing else ever. And that was a point of contention. It's something I had to keep reminding my player, my mother in this case, of that difference. So if you play 2 in a row, then you give a tile to the next player. If you play on one of the pearl spots, the 4s or the 14s, then you play one anywhere. It does not have to go next to something else. I kind of wish that was even simpler than it is, because the game is really so very, very lucky. It's a very silly game. You're drawing things and hoping you have the right moment to play. It is, there's not a ton of strategy here is my point, but it is lovely to see the board develop, for you to start running out of things, to be able to shove the next player with a tile that you don't want to play. Those are fun little moments. It's a conversation game for sure. You can be playing while you're conversing. But those 2 different rules do throw it for a loop a little bit, and I thought that was interesting. And I wouldn't mind both the rules being in there if you could pick your bonus, or if there was a little player aid, something very simple. There is a little bit more game to it, like I said, but it changes the bonus base, to passing or whatever to something else randomly set up at the beginning of the game. But those tiles, which are right here, would go next to the board, and they happen to be in Korean in this version, so I did not play with this. I played the basic game, which I liked, and would certainly recommend to someone who is looking for a time passer, something that looks really good, has a lovely production, like these racks for the tiles. These are supremely nice. So glad they included something like this. It holds the shells really nicely. The whole thing, production-wise, cannot be faulted. So I like that. I just have that one little hiccup with the rules. As it is, very simple, enjoyable, nice kind of, passing of the time kind of game. Lets you talk and enjoy each other's company a little bit. For me, I'm going to give this one a 7. That is a seal of approval. And if you are in the right audience, then I think you're going to enjoy this one too. For a game that is from a long time ago, being brought back and being given a new treatment, this is about as good as it gets. Give it a gorgeous theme, make some really nice plastic bits. They're good, they're really nicely put together, and have a theme that is accessible to anybody, right? No one can object to, we're collecting seashells and then arranging them, trying to put them back on the beach is the idea. So lovely, yes, absolutely. This gets a 7 out of 10. And make sure if you are someone yourself or have someone in your family who is captivated by the look or the simple gameplay, that you give this one a shot. So there you go, everybody. That is Shall We? And my name is Z Garcia. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.